everybody, just doing a real quick showing of the speed paints that, the speed paints. The Chaos Warriors that I painted using speed painting techniques primarily. I did use metallics in the bone and some, on the bone, some wash, just like I normally would, because I thought I'd get just as quickly, a nice effect, perhaps nicer. That's not where I was really trying to get the advantage. Of course, the base. I did my normal basing with sort of a goblin green, old school look. I think that they came out kind of nice. I did actually place them further out for the display underneath my lighting. I got a weird setup right now because it's temporary. There's not as much I can do about it. But for what I'm showing here, just in front of me, I have to tilt up because the lighting kind of goes down. Otherwise, there's a lot of shadows, as you can see. But yeah, like basically the yellow, I ended up using a combination of 2 parts malignant green, or excuse me, I used the malignant green on the yellow, and then this green is basically 2 of this malignant green, which I call yellow here, but it's really called green. But then this camo cloak is really dark, and one part of this gives the difference between the malignant green and this. Yeah. I really like the straight malignant green because I was kind of wanting like a brighter kind of Nurgle green, but other people I've had some folks tell me that they actually like this one better. I'm going to do half and half, so the next group that I do will probably be only be one of that and mostly these, and I'm going to make them actually intermixed in my Nurgle army, and so I thought that would be kind of cool for whatever reason. And that's basically it. I did end up using some other... I thought I was only going to use these 2, but then, like, as I was doing it, I was like, well, why don't I just try out the black? And so the poles, you don't really need to use a speed paint to get a cool effect, but it goes on really thin and fast, and it still actually is really dark. Now, I did paint little bright metal dots on there for the studs, but the Grim Black worked really well. The pallid bone is interesting. It's this right there. I don't know what to say. I think it's pretty good, actually. I think it's these bone kind of colors on the contrast paints and the speed paints are pretty popular. I think it worked out pretty good. I just did think that, like, if I compared that to this, let me just see if I can show it. Maybe it's just a matter of opinion, like always, but I think if I compare this to this, I kind of liked the ink on an ivory a little better, but this kind of looks nice too. And then just while I'm at it, that almost looks a bit like a red, perhaps, but it's technically their orange. And I know red and orange in paints oftentimes really come close, but that's, I should just pull out here, they're Fire Giant Orange. Out of the 5 bottles of speed paint that I have, I got these from Amazon, and this one did have like a whole bunch of caked stuff in the top, which I had to open it up and use a toothpick and pull it out of the tip. But then it's not as if all the pigment like kind of was wasted on it. Like basically when I used it, it worked fine. I just took that out. But this one had some dried stuff in the top, and all the rest were fine. I really like these. These are the 1.0 speed paints. I guess they've moved on to a new formula. I'm going to use these up, then I'll probably use the 2.0. My understanding is the 2.0 just doesn't reactivate. Like it dries a bit faster, and like when you go over it, like it won't pull from the bottom layer and bleed into it as fast. Some people like the reactivation and are disappointed in that, but they worked fine for me. I didn't really experience any reactivation, so I don't know. Depending on what you're doing, I guess for me it mostly worked fine. I'm going to make this one short because I've done some long ones recently. I am going to do some Warhammer Fantasy miniatures. I'm filling out the ranks of my Beastmen with just some single models, like single Ungor, single champions, standard bearers and stuff, because I just need some more to augment my army for gaming. And I'm not really going to put those up on the channel, I don't think, because it's just same stuff I've always done. Between the World War II stuff coming up, I'm going to do another 15 of these guys, and then I'll probably show that group when I'm done. I have these guys out that I'm going to be doing very soon. I call them guys, but they're really not guys. These are the original Banshees, metal Banshees. Some of my friends and I are doing some old school 40K gaming, like we're looking at pulling out 2nd edition, and perhaps even some other things that are available to play with your miniatures, like one-page rules and stuff, like just things like that. But 2nd edition is sort of what we're looking at playing. And I have, as you guys know, some pirate Eldar. What do I call them? I guess they're space elves, but they're kind of like space pirates, and they're painted in a color scheme fitting of the Rogue Trader era for that. I'm going to start moving away with all my Eldar stuff and going back to painting Biel-Tan. So I'm going to keep those space pirates as they are, but then I'm going to start painting some Biel-Tan. And these are Aspect Warriors I'm going to paint in the traditional colors. In the past, I've done like a Biel-Tan version of the Aspect Warriors. I'm going straight out of the book with these. They're going to be painted just like right out of the book, Howling Banshees. So I have basically a squad. There's one. So I've got a couple. Some of them are doubles. This is another unique one. I really do love these old sculpts for them. This one's different too. Kind of leaning forward. And then I've got the Exarch with a different weapon. Massive axe that's just going to basically probably stab you to death. It's an axe with this huge point on the front. Maybe there's a name for that. Maybe a weaponologist, is there such thing? Can call. And then these, I believe, are just doubles, but they make 5. And so that's really cool. Actually, from what I understand, I do think there were only 3 sculpts and then 1 Exarch. So the reason I have doubles, I think, is because in order to make 5, they had to be. That's my understanding when I look back at it. There weren't 5 uniques. Anyway, they're really cool. And in a fitting way, the first Exarchs that I painted when I started the channel, guess what they were? They were Howling Banshees. So I wonder if that's why I pulled these out, perhaps subconsciously, because I pulled these out before I started going into my decade nostalgic cycle, is what I'll call it. That's kind of happening. All right. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. I know that my understanding is that I should put something out here to look at while I'm just talking. My understanding, because these guys are actually the very next things up. I didn't mention that, but these 2 Beastmen, Wartime Beastmen, are the next things coming up. The Bestigors. I'm just going to get these done. These I will put on the channel. Gosh, I'm just like a squirrel, or whatever that saying, squirrel. Oh, now I know what it was. I know that you're not supposed to put videos up on the weekend if you want people to watch them. I think that the best time to do it is to schedule Monday morning to get views. But I don't really do that stuff, and so I'm going to put this up now as soon as I finish editing it. I don't really care. But it's kind of funny, because I used to think about that stuff. I'm like, well, am I supposed to do this differently? Like, blah, blah, blah. There's all these rules they try to tell you. It's like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to put it up. I could care less. All right. Talk to you later, everybody.